Yeah, very good evening, Akansh. Welcome to Akshar classes. This is Gafar sir, your physics faculty. Let's start our session. In the last class, we have been discussed about types of waves, and also we introduced that what is a sound. Okay, today we going to learn about when waves are forming, in what form they are passing, or in what form they are going ahead, and also the terms related to the wave and sound will discuss. Understand? That is the topic. With that we can complete the synopsis. And next we will discuss the questions also. Right? So I shall start. Very first one is, so look at the, now let's see the transverse flow. Let's see the transverse wave. If you see the transverse wave in the medium, it travels as like this way. This is the way the transverse wave moves. And next similar way, if you see the longitudinal wave, if you see the longitudinal wave, for example, if you take the silky, if you, what happened? Is my voice not audible? Yeah. Now if you see this longitudinal wave, if you observe the silky, this is the way. If you observe the silky, this is the way you observe the things, correct? Now look at here. In that, actually in the transverse wave, the wave traveled as a form of trough and crest. So what is crest here? The maximum displacement. This point is called a crest. This point is called what? Trough. Okay. Crest and trough. In the form of crest and trough, the wave is traveled. The transverse wave traveled. Now what about longitudinal wave? Longitudinal wave travel in the medium as a form of compression and refraction. Look at here, where more dense is placed, that is called compression, and where less dense is known as rarefaction. So that way, compression and rarefaction, as a form of compression and rarefaction, the longitudinal wave will travel in the medium. Next, look at the transverse wave. How the transverse wave will travel as a form of crest and trough. So this is what I thought we explained about how the transverse and longitudinal wave will pass in the medium. Understand? Got my point? Next, look at the terms related to the wave or sound wave. Terms related to wave. So what is the first thing? The very first thing is wavelength. So here we can define, for longitudinal wave we can define in one way, and also transverse wave we can define in another way. Let me take for example transverse wave. In the transverse wave, the wavelength is known as the distance between what we can call distance between crest and successive crest. The distance between the successive crest is known as a transverse wave. Wavelength. How we can say here, by seeing we can observe that. So let me take, this is a wave. So this is a wave. This is a crest, and this is one crest. So the distance between successive crest is known as what? Wavelength. Even in another way also, the distance between successive trough also is known as wavelength. From here to here is known as wavelength. Even here to here also wavelength. Wavelength represented with a lambda. Wavelength is represented with lambda. And units for wavelength is what? Units for wavelength. It is a length kada. When it is the length, so you can write it as meters, centimeters, angstroms. So that way we can measure the wavelength. So here a very small wavelength for measuring in terms of angstroms, nanometer. That way we can measure the wavelength. Okay. This is for transverse wave. Now what about longitudinal? If you take longitudinal wave, now as you see the trough and silky, if you observe the silky, so this is the way you have the things. When this is the way you have the things, you can take that the distance between successive compression or the distance between successive rarefaction is known as what? Is known as wavelength. In terms for the longitudinal wave, we can define in that way. For transverse wave, we can define that distance between. Tell me distance between trough and crust. Distance between successive crust or trough is known as wavelength. And also next one is what? The distance between successive compression or successive rarefaction is known as what? Is known as wavelength. In that way also we can define the wavelength. Got my point? So next let me take the time period. Next one is what? Time period. So what is the time period here? Time period is represented with the letter T. Time period is the time to cover the wavelength distance. Understand? So what is that? Time period is the time to cover wavelength distance. Wavelength distance is known as time period, represented with letter T. Units are what? Seconds. Units are seconds. For time period, what is the units? Seconds. Represented with letter capital T. Very simple one. Time period is that time period. Look at here this. For example, if you take this is somewhere over here we have a source. From the source, a wave is producing. When a wave is producing, if it is covers one wavelength distance, how much time is taken? The time is known as a time period. Got my point? Next one is what? Wave velocity. Other one is what? Wave velocity. Generally, velocity means distance by time. Okay? The distance, the wavelength. How can you define this? How can you define the wave velocity? The wavelength per unit time. Per unit time period. Time period is known as wave velocity. Wave velocity. How can you write this wave velocity here? So the wave velocity V, you can represent that wavelength per unit time period. Wavelength means represented with the letter lambda. Per unit time means lambda by G. So this is the velocity of the what? Wavelength. Here wavelength units are meter and time units are seconds, since velocity also units for what? Meter per second. Understand? Next one, frequency. One more thing is what? Frequency. What is this frequency? Simple form, reciprocal of time period. Reciprocal of time period is known as frequency. See, frequency f is equal to reciprocal of time period 1 by t you can write. So reciprocal of time period is known as time period, or else in another way also we can define the number of vibration per second or the number of waves produced in 1 second, also defined as frequency. In another way also, the number of waves produced in 1 second. 1 second is also known as what? Frequency. Understand? The units for frequency is hertz. So shortly what? Hertz. The unit for frequency is what? Hertz. Hertz is the frequency units, and the units are what is the units? Hertz. This is the way we can define the frequency. Reciprocal of time period or number of waves produced in 1 second, also known as frequency. And coming to the point, amplitude. So one more, last and final, amplitude. So look at the amplitude. So this amplitude we can define by taking an example. So let us take a wave. In this wave is producing by using the particle vibration. This wave is producing by using the particle vibration. So from here to here the particle is vibrating. From this point to this point the particle is vibrating. Because of that, this point is reaching. When the point is reaching, the wave is producing. But here, this is called mean position, and this is called maximum displacement of the particle. From the mean position to the maximum displacement of the particle is known as amplitude. Understand? From the mean position to maximum displacement of the particle is known as what? Amplitude. So this is also what? Amplitude. This is also what? Amplitude. Understand? So this is negative side, that is positive side. So that way we can define the amplitude. So this is the way we have the terms. What are the terms? First one is wavelength, next one is what? Time period, next one is wave velocity, next one is frequency, next one is amplitude. But here, one thing is here, relation between frequency, velocity, relation between velocity, wavelength and frequency. Relation between what? Velocity, wavelength and frequency is, you know, speed of the wave. Speed of the wave formula is, just now we derived that. Speed of the wave is what? Lambda by t. Am I right? So when this is the lambda by t, so lambda by t. But just now we tell that frequency means reciprocal of time period. So here instead of 1 by t, I can write as frequency. So then it is become wave velocity as frequency into wavelength. So this is a way also we can represent the speed of the wave. So in this formula, V means velocity of the wave, F means frequency of the sound, and lambda means wavelength of the wave. So this is the relation between velocity, wavelength and frequency. So this is what you have for your concept. So one thing is types of wave, another thing is terms related to the wave. These only the topics you have. Okay. Now based on this, we do some questions, and also we do some questions related to pressure also. So let me do first the questions related to the waves and what sound. So I'll share the questions to you. Let me share first. Here these are the questions. Is it appearing? You can answer it one by one. Yeah, now in the progressive wave, dash is carried continuously by forward moving waves throughout the medium. So what is forward? Tell me the answers. In the progressive wave, dash is carried continuously by forward moving wave throughout the medium. So simply, generally wave is transporting one place to other place. What it is transporting one place to other place? The energy and momentum. So the answer is what here? The energy. Next, the wave which do not require medium for their transmission are called. Tell me. The wave which do not require medium. What kind of wave it is? The wave not required a medium. Mechanical or non-mechanical? Yeah, the non-mechanical is the answer. Electromagnetic wave are also called. Electromagnetic waves also called non-mechanical wave because electromagnetic waves are not required medium to propagate. Next, electromagnetic wave travels in the vacuum with a speed of. Electromagnetic wave is nothing but light wave. So what is the speed of the light in the vacuum? The speed of the light in the vacuum is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. And all sound waves are dash type of waves. All sound waves are what kind of waves? Longitudinal waves. Understand? Because longitudinal means the particles are vibrating parallel to the wave propagation, since those are called longitudinal wave. Sound wave also called. What kind of wave? Sound waves? Mechanical wave, non-mechanical wave, both A and B, neither A nor B. So what is the answer here? Mechanical wave, because sound requires a medium to propagate. Next, dash waves cannot travel through vacuum. Mechanical wave, non-mechanical wave, both A and B, none of these. So what is that answer? Mechanical wave. If the particles of the medium vibrate perpendicular to their direction of propagation, then the wave are known. Transverse wave. Good. Transverse wave travels through solids, liquid, gases. So here the answer is all of these. Understand? Transverse wave can travel gases, liquid. All of these is the right answer. The substance through which sound travels is called medium, radium, vacuum, and lodium. What is this lodium? Nothing meaningless is lodium. So what is the answer here? Medium. Next, a wave in which the particles of the medium vibrate to and fro parallel to the direction of the wave is called longitudinal. Next, longitudinal wave can travel through dash. All of the above. All of this is the right answer. Understand? So this is the questions. Next, let us share one more question. Some other questions. Simple questions, not much tough. So basic questions they are given. Now, when the density of the particle is maximum in longitudinal wave, it is known as. Where density, longitudinal wave, where density is more, that is called what? More density. In the longitudinal wave, where more density is called compression. So answer is what? Compression. Compression. Where density is less, that is known as rarefaction. So look at the other. The upper part of the transverse wave above the line of the zero disturbance is called the upper part of the transverse wave. Transverse wave. Crest. Very good. Similar way, the lowest part of the transverse wave below the line of zero disturbance. Trough. Next, the phase difference between successive compression or rarefaction is called. Here, so one term is, I thought to explain, phase. Generally, phase is nothing but it is the angle, represented with the angle. So, the phase is a term representing the position of the particle. Understand? Phase is the term representing the position of the particle. Look at here, for example, this is a wave. This is a wave. This wave is produced because of the vibration of the particle. Now observe that this is one particle. When the particle is, this particle is reaching to here, this particle is reaching to here. Then what is the difference between the phase between the particles of this side and this? That is 180 degrees. But whereas phase difference between this particle and this particle is 90 degrees. So the kind of question it is 19, the phase difference between the successive compression and rarefaction. Successive compression and rarefaction means successive compression, rarefaction immediate after. Look at here, this is a compression and this is rarefaction, which is mean like crest and this point. So how much it is actually, how many radians it is? Between here to here, how much is the phase difference? Same way, phase difference for crest and trough also, I mean compression and rarefaction also. That is nothing but actually pi by 2. So the answer for this is pi by 2. And next, the distance between crest and adjacent trough. Crest adjacent trough, how much it is? Here to here distance is called what? Lambda. Then here to here distance is called. How much it is? Half of that means lambda by 2. Understand? The distance between consecutive crest or between the two consecutive trough is known as consecutive trough and consecutive crest. The distance is known as what? Here to here, the distance is nothing but what? So the answer is here what? Lambda. Okay, next 22. In dash waves, energy is trapped in fixed region. Energy is trapped in a fixed region. So observe that this is a string. The string is made set up in vibration. When vibration setups, this is the way the wave is produced, but because of the rigid supports, again it reflects back. When it is reflecting back, actually this is called antinode. This is called antinode. This is called antinode. This is called node. Node means where amplitude is 0. So here this is called node, 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 and even this also node. And next, where maximum amplitude is there, that is called antinode. So here this is antinode, this is antinode, this is antinode, this is antinode, this is antinode. So in the stationary wave, what we observe, nodes and antinodes as a form of nodes and antinodes. In the stationary wave, the wave is traveled. So now here, look at here, in between now the stationary wave formed, in between them, between this point and this point, what is get trapped here? What is get trapped here? Energy is trapped. So the answer for this question is become what? Stationary wave. And next, the point in a standing wave where the particles undergoes minimum displacement are called. Actually, standing waves means stationary waves somehow. The stationary waves where minimum displacement, which means that minimum amplitude is known as, minimum amplitude means this parts. This parts is known as what? Node. So the answer is for here what? Node. The points in a standing wave where the particle undergoes maximum displacement are called. Maximum displacement means this point. So what are that? Antinodes. So the answer is what? Here this one. Understand? Next, the distance between successive node and antinode. Successive node or else successive node and antinode. This distance is actually what? Actually here to here is length is called what? Lambda. So here to here length is called what? Lambda by 2. So the answer is what? Lambda by 2. Lambda by 2 or lambda by 4? Lambda by 4, not lambda by 2. Fourth part of the lambda. Next, the distance between node and successive antinode. Same thing, kada? That is lambda by 4 only. The points on wave where the points on a wave which are in the same phase state vibrates are solid to be in the same phase. So actually this is called same phase. The points on a wave which are in the same state of vibration are said to be in same phase. So that is the 27 answer. So this is the way you will have type of questions. Understand? Now let's go for next slide, that is belongs to pressure topic. Shall I go? Yeah, look at here. 1 atma is equal to how many mercury height? How much is a mercury? Meters, in meters you are supposed to asking. So the answer is what here? The answer is what? The answer is 0.76 meters Hg will represent as the atmospheric. Standard atmospheric pressure is. Standard atmospheric pressure is. So standard atmospheric pressure is this one only. Okay. 76 into 13.6 into 980 centimeter of mercury column will represent the standard atmospheric pressure. That is, this formula is related to rho GH. P is equal to rho GH. So rho means density of the mercury, G means acceleration due to gravity, H means height. So this 76 represents the height, 13.6 is representing the mercury density, and 980 is representing the acceleration due to gravity in a CG system. Next, atmospheric pressure is measured by. Tell me, atmospheric pressure is measured by thermometer, calorimeter, hydrometer, barometer. Which one is the answer? Barometer. The column of mercury in a barometer is 76 Hg. Calculate the atmospheric pressure of the density of mercury 13,600 kg per meter cube. Already we did this problem. Observe, look at the value. That is 1.03 into 10 power 5 Pascal. So when you are using the barometer experiment, I explained that value. Which are the following factors does not affect the barometric height? Independent of the shape and size of the tube, it does not change the tube tilted. So what are that? Both A and B will come on, because it is independent of the shape and size, and also it does not depend upon that when you are tilting the barometer height is not affected. Next, choose a correct formula. Pressure of a vapor, true atmospheric pressure plus barometric height. Pressure of a vapor, true atmospheric pressure plus barometric height. So I think, no, this is the answer. Understand? This is nothing but true atmosphere pressure plus barometric height. Understand? That is nothing but absolute pressure. Which of the following factors affect the barometric height? Presence of moisture in mercury, presence of dissolved metal in mercury, vertical height of the sea level. So this sea level is affecting presence of dissolved metals in a mercury. Yes, this is also presence of moisture in mercury. This is also, so that all of these above. Next, which of the following is reason for using mercury as a barometric liquid? Mercury is a density liquid. Yes, it is correct. Mercury can be easily obtained in pure state. Mercury does not wet the sides of the glass tube. So this is also all of the above. Next, which of the following is the disadvantage of usage of water as a mercury magnet? Water being transparent is not easily visible. Yes, it is right. Water sticks to the slides of the glass tube. Yes, it is right. Water vaporized under the vacuum conditions. It's all. So this is all of the above is correct. Understand? Next, let's see another slide. Next, which of the following equation is equation of continuity? Actually, this part, even we did not have the what concept, but the answer for what equation of continuity is what is AV is equal to constant. Here A means area of the cross section, V means velocity. So that is the equation of continuity. You can keep it in mind. This is comes under Bernoulli's principle. Am I right? It is not Archimedes principle. This comes under Bernoulli's principle. Next, buoyant force acting on the object due to fluid liquid generally acts upward, downward, which way direction? Which is upward. So the answer is what? C. Now every liquid exerts an upward force on the object's imagined. This upward force is called, tell me, buoyant force. Option B. Buoyant force in liquids helps in making the objects appear lighter, heavier, no effect, none of this. So what is the answer? Lighter. Because of C, that is called apparent weight. So when you keep the object in the water, in the air, in which case you observe more weight in the water, in the air you will observe more weight, in the water you will observe less weight. That is called apparent weight because of the buoyant force. Buoyant force acts in a direction of, why they are asking every time? Perpendicular to the weight of the body, parallel to the weight of the body. So option A, parallel to the weight of the body, not perpendicular to the weight of the body. Which of the following factors affect the upthrust? Volume of the body, yes. Density of the liquid, yes. So what is the option? Both E and V. That is the formula for buoyancy force. Buoyancy force is equal to V rho G. So here V is nothing but volume of the object. Rho is the density of the liquid. G is the acceleration due to gravity. They did not mention. Next, a body weights in A W1, W2 in water, W3 in liquid. The density of the liquid is. So the density of the liquid is nothing but generally the density of the liquid represent with W2 minus W3 by W1 minus W2. So which one is? So option B will have the answer. Next, the buoyant force depends upon depth of the liquid, color of the liquid, density of the liquid, none of this. So what is the answer here? Option C is the answer. So this is what I thought we explained for today. So with that we done with all the questions, and remaining questions you can practice on your own. With that we done with 2 chapters, isn't it? So tomorrow you'll have the class. Okay, actually Generally, we don't have the class. Tomorrow, Violet Sars will take the class, as well as Math Sir also will take the class. So, since you must attend for tomorrow, and day after tomorrow, you will get a holiday for preparation. Understand? On the Friday, you will get preparation holiday, and tomorrow you attend compulsory. Understand? Bye.